presidential aspirant Fred Matiang'i is saying that if he is elected to be the next president of this country, then he will go for these looters who have been stealing everything they come across. So Matiang'i is saying that Kenya was invaded by looters immediately Ruto was elected as the president of this country. This is what he is saying. Kenya was invaded by a brand of looters in 2022. Kazi yao ni kuiba tu kama waibi wanauza. So here is Fred Matiang'i, of course, exposing what has been happening with the current, with the regime of the day. We're talking about, he's talking about stealing. Right now we're talking about SHA scandal. We're talking about kuuza, and we're talking about the privatization of Kenya Pipeline Company. You see, Kenyans are yearning for that for that man who will be bold enough to go for these thieves. This is what Kenyans are yearning for. As much as we are discussing about presidency, who is the next president of this republic, whom should we vote in 2027 polls, who is the best candidate, as much as Kenyans are discussing all these issues with governance and all these issues, Kenyans are yearning to get that one person bold enough to go for these thieves. Stealing everything, and they're not even stopping. They are shameless thieves. Imagine these people are invading the health sector. Of all the sectors we have in this country, they decided to go for health sector. This is a tragedy. How do you even go for money that is meant to be distributed to hospitals? How do you go for money that is meant to help someone in Kenyatta Hospital, in Nairobi Hospital? How are you going for a money that is to save someone in Nakuru Level 5 hospital? What is this that these people can't do? Do these people have level of just humanity in them? Looks like we're dealing with people with no humane value. People who are just soulless. Kenyans want someone who will go for these people. We know this has been a trend way back. We're not talking about the current regime because money has been, even in the previous regime, people are talking about how money is being looted left, right, and center. And Kenyans are saying that, hoping for someone who is going to ensure that all the public resources that have been stolen is being retrieved and given back to the public. Kenyans are looking forward to that one president. And that is the reason Kenyans unasikia wakiuliza, if we vote for Maraga, will we be courageous enough to go for these thieves? If we vote for Okiya Omtatah, is he courageous enough to go for these thieves? And this is why people are just like, they're not even trusting the likes of the opposition that we have right now. Because they're saying, we just don't want another president in the name of another president. We want a president who is going to do much to this country. Imagine a president who will look back and say that we implemented a new health system that costs 104 billion Kenyan shillings to be put up. And then 8 months later, this system has collapsed. We want a president who will look into this matter and everybody involved be accountable. You don't tell me that you're asking Kenyans that the old health system has been corrupted and that we want to go for a new system. Then this new system collapsed after 8 months, after 104 billion Kenyan shillings has been spent to come up with this thing. This is the reason Kenya are saying we want a president who will look into such matters. You cannot tell me that a system that cost 104 billion collapsed after 8 months and no one is arrested, no one is jailed. This is the reason Kenyans are saying that we just don't want to change Ruto for another Ruto. We are no longer interested. If it is about getting Ruto out and getting another Ruto in, then there is no need for these elections. So I hope the likes of Kina Freddy Matiang'i, as they talk like this, if they are given a chance to lead this country, They should go for these people. Like the corruption is just another tragedy we are facing as a country. When will corruption ever end? Will Kenyans ever experience a leader who hates corruption? Will Kenyans ever get a leader who is so ready to 100% fight corruption? Do we have that person at the moment? Amongst the presidential aspirants that we have, do you have one who Kenyans think that if we give this one this opportunity or this seat, we'll go for these corrupt individuals? Do we have? This is one of the questions that Kenyans are asking themselves. We can no longer talk about privatizations of companies and making shoddy deals here and there. Like right now, when you hear that the government wants to do something, the only thing that comes in your mind is someone wants to make a deal out of it. Like that is the only thing you think about. Like if the government says that they want to change this to this, the way I saw Mbadi talking about to do tender and making everything online, like the only thing that comes in your mind is who is now going to benefit from this deal? Because Kenyans, the only thing that comes in our mind as Kenyans is there is a gap somewhere that someone wants to make money out of this. I just hope that amongst the presidential aspirants that we have at the moment, someone somewhere is so ready to fight corruption. If you get that person who is so ready to fight corruption in this country, then we're so good to go. We're so good to go. In fact, the next thing that presidential aspirant should have in mind that once elected, destroying the current system totally. Because as we speak right now, no institutions is working. You're talking about the judiciary is gone. You're talking about the police is gone. You're talking about the National Assembly. That one is dead. Like the National Assembly is not independent. The people who are supposed to be raising issues against the regime of the day, the people who are elected to be the watchdog of the regime of the day, they were bought. Oh my God. I think the next president has a lot to do because the current system we have has to go. Totally has to be brought down. That person has to bring in new faces and new system because the problem looks like the problem is not even having the man at the state house. Looks like the problem is the system, and once we have the current system, the circle will go on and go on. We'll be going to elections, getting new leaders. Then after a few months, that person becomes corrupt. It becomes all about money, looting, and all that. So I think the next president has a lot to do. In fact, he should stop doing everything else and focus on corruption and getting in new systems. I think that should be the only focus for the person, for the next president of this country. Corruption and the new system. Then after that, we can now talk about, because even if you talk about good governance, you're talking about how you're going to build roads, schools, infrastructure, hospitals, security. All this has been invaded. All this is all about corruption going on in this sector and all that. So I think the next president has a lot to do. It's not about being the president. It's not about leading 57 million Kenyans. It's all about how to get things working in the right way, how to get the right system in place, and how to go ensure that the current system is crumbled. Because we just have to start from somewhere. We will wait as Kenyans. We will wait. We will say that, okay, we are going to give you 3 years of dealing with the current system. Thereafter, we can now talk about adding more schools, maybe adding more hospitals and all that. But we have to get the current system out first. For anything to work in this country, we have to get the current system out first. Once we have this right, then we can go about development, about devolution, about leadership and all that. But as at now, nothing is going to move forward as long as the current system is not dismantled. then we will be electing people. Then after a few months, we go back to singing the old songs of the next election, getting the right person, and all that. So for Fred Matiang'i, man, if you ever get this chance, get the right system in place, then development will just fall. In fact, if you get the right system in place, all these other things will fall. Good governance, uh, good hospitals, medicines in hospitals, enough teachers, all these things will just fall in right place by itself. So for all the aspirants eyeing the top seat, you have a lot to do, because we have to clear this system first before we even think about schools, about roads, about maybe teachers, and something like that. So that is it from me for now. Thanks for watching, and this is Sophia Live.